What's up, everyone? And today I'm bringing a deck profile on my Altergiest. Now, Altergiest has recently gotten some new support, or as recording on this video, maybe not too recently. Past few sets, anyway. And some of the support that it's gotten is actually pretty good. And it makes this deck a lot more faster and opens a whole lot more lines. So without further ado, let's get right into it. First, I run 3 copies of Multi-Faker. Multi-Faker is obviously the key card of this deck. Whenever you activate a trap, you can summon it from the hand and then special summon one Altergeist monster from your deck. Now, before, your standard line was to go for the Silquetas and use the Silquetas effect to bounce. And while that still is one of your best lines, now you don't really have to rely on that more. Depending on how the state of the game is, sometimes you might want to go for Mollusk, which will special summon Meloseek, or the Silquetas if it's been sent to the graveyard from your grave. Also run 3 Meloseek. I'd say it's like the second best card. Meloseek can attack directly, and when it inflicts battle damage, you can send one card your opponent controls to the graveyard. And when it's sent to the graveyard, you can add an Altergeist monster. This is still definitely your starter. That hasn't really changed. Now what has changed is I now run 2 Altergeist Marionetter. Now, before the standard was basically 3 Multi-Faker, 3 Meloseek, and 3 of the Marionetter. But I don't really think that's really the best option anymore. Now that we got all these other nice cards like Mollusk and Pukri, Marionetter just doesn't come up as much as it used to. We have so many more options to search our cards or grab our cards and stuff like that. In fact, most time I rarely even went into Marionetter. I usually just use it for a monster that I could normal summon. Also run 2 of the Altergeist Mollusk. Mollusk is... I love this card. Not only do I think the design is really nice, then again, the Altergeist designs have always looked nice. If this card is added to your hand except by drawing it, you special summon it. If this card is normal special summoned, you target one Altergeist monster in the graveyard, except Mollusk, special summon it in defense position. But for the rest of the turn, it cannot activate its effect, which really isn't much of a downside. You can use it for extending and all sorts of stuff. Next, I run 3 Altergeist Pukri. Pukri basically acts like the Code Talkers. When you were to link summon into a Altergeist Ink monster, you can use Pukri as material from your hand. It also has an effect to where it can add itself back to your hand, which is definitely pretty nice. Also run, of course, the 1 Silquetas. Even though you have more options, the Silquetas line is definitely one of your best ones because, you know, it's a compulse. I also run the 1 Altergeist Conqueror. I'm seeing a lot of people kind of dropping it out, and while you don't really need it as much anymore, it is still a very useful card to have, and it does come up. Next for monsters, I run 3 Ash. Basically my hand trap of choice. Moving on to spells, which we don't run many. I run 3 Pot of Prosperity. Pot of Prosperity is pretty solid because there are some cards in your extra deck you don't really use, and while you do use your extra deck more, it's the best draw power you have access to for Altergeist. Also run the 1 for 1 because Meloseek and Pukri are both level 1s, and 1 Called by Grave because you still don't like hand traps. Now moving on to traps, I run 2 Altergeist Protocol and 2 Personal Spoofing. I did have these at 3, but I kept running into a problem where I'd see too many of one or the other. Don't get me wrong, spoofing is nice, but with all the new Altergeist cards we have, it's just not as important. Like before, if you didn't have personal spoofing, then your chances of winning were pretty low. Now, half the time, we don't really even need spoofing. Nice to have, but not really needed. Protocol is a bit different, but the one problem is I don't want to have too many continuous spells. Or not continuous spells, continuous traps. And it's nice, but it is also searchable off of Marionetter. Also run 1 Manifestation. It's like a Call by the Grave. Or not Call by the Grave, Call the Haunted. Also run 1 copy of Revitalization. Targeting monster in the graveyard, special summon it. Then you can banish this card from the graveyard to normal summon an Altergeist monster. Next, I run 3 copies of Anti-Spell Fragrance. Since we don't really use many spells and there's a lot of decks that use Runic, then Anti-Spell is definitely a good card to have because it just can shut some decks down and makes it really difficult for your opponent to play. Also run 3 Strike. Also pretty useful for disrupting your opponent or protecting your own plays. Also run 2 Compulse. And lastly, I run the 3 Infinite Permanents. Next, we move on to the extra deck monsters. I run 3 Altergeist Hextia. Hextia is, in my opinion, the best Altergeist extra deck monster. Not only can you tribute a Altergeist monster's card points to negate a spell trap effect, You can also add a Altergeist card from your deck to your hand when it's sent to the graveyard. And all I need to do is just link it away. We also got Prime Banshee, which is another search as well. I don't really use the effect that much because you gotta essentially tribute one Altergeist to special one Altergeist, and that doesn't really come up all too often. I more or less just use it to like link climb into the higher Altergeist cards like Memory Against, which is an attack boost and can attack twice, or Adminia, which is a Snatch Steal or less. And also when Adminia is link summoned, you can special, or you can set one Altergeist trap directly from your deck. Next, I run 2 copies of Link Rebo. You mainly use Link Rebo for the Mellow Seek to be able to normal Mellow Seek, link away from Link Rebo to trigger the Mellow Seek effect. And of course, we got 2 Anima, which is like the going second option to Link Rebo, as well as 1 Barricade Board Blocker. Since we have some continuous spells like Protocol, this does come up occasionally. Of course, also run the 1 Nightmare Unicorn and access code to help close the games out. Now, one thing I actually forgot to mention, Mollusp is a tuner. So we have tuner plays in this deck. Although Altergeist has its own synchro monster, it's awful. So instead, I run stuff like Stardust Charge Warrior and FA Dawn's Dragster. Charge Warrior allows you to draw a card, and Dawn Dragster is spell trap negation. We don't really go into the synchro plays as much because the link plays are much stronger. Having a couple synchro options is also really good as well, and 6 and 7 are the ones you're mostly going to use because you got Marionetter, which is level 4, and Multi-Figure, which is at level 3. That's it for my Altergeist deck profile. Let me know what you think of Altergeist. Do you think the new cards really make this deck a potential meta contender? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video I make. Bye.